All right, are we going?
We're going.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Only one of us needed to right there, baby.
Welcome to Friendly Fire Podcast.
Welcome to the apartment cast. That's what we're going to call this one.
Yeah, welcome to my house, guys.
Look at this. I like the
at
art.
this.
Is that Gucci Mane?
Yeah, that's Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it looks like I have a shrine to Gucci Mane.
You got the candle and
Because I have the
everything,
candles and the sage and all that shit. Yeah. But, I mean, I do fuck with Gucci. I mean, on drugs, Gucci Mane.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice an 8-ball to him every once in a while.
Yeah. Sometimes
But you just burn it.
I just have to pour lean into the
candle.
Yeah.
Got to get the candle sitting sideways. I apologize, everybody, for the last episode. I thought it would be funny to be in a medieval character. Hey, guess who hated it? Everybody. The analytics are crazy.
People stopped watching.
Dude, it was like our average listen time, and I'm not kidding, was cut in 85%. It said 85% less people are watching at the 45-minute mark than normal. And I went,
so funny.
Oh, so a guy can't even dress up like a knight and goof around anymore. Everybody goes, we don't like this. So how about this, guys? How about you appreciate my art?
Yeah, guys.
It's your fault that I did that.
Yeah, it's your fault that he didn't drop the bit. Yeah, a couple people messaged me and were like, I really enjoyed it. And what I really liked about it is that Josh wouldn't stop and you were over it almost immediately.
yeah, that's what people were. I had like 2 or 3 people tell me that too.
That's a pretty accurate description of what happened.
It's pretty much the podcast in general.
No. But sometimes it is funny. It becomes a bit, but it is real when I go, he's talking about oats again. All right, here we go.
Oh, man. Yeah, we've been doing that. I've been doing another thing. I've been trying to get rid of my overbite, so I've been doing a lot. I've been bulldogging a lot and breathing through my nose. So what I've been doing is I stick my jaw, and then I do breathing exercises through my nose because I've read online that that's how you people do this they sleep with mouth guards on to fix their jawline. Yeah. And I went, guess who's gonna get one, baby?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get hot, dude. It's gonna be be a hot boy summer. I think I'm gonna start auditioning for war movies. I want to be in
wintertime,
dude.
Yeah.
I want to be. Well, it's gonna. That's why you got to start right now if you want to be hot in the summer.
In the winter,
and so I want to get. No, I want to. My new goal is I want to be in a war movie.
Okay.
And then I want to be 220 pounds of muscle by next year. So I'm gonna take steroids. I don't think it's obtainable, but I'm gonna take a ton of steroids.
You should take steroids.
I'm gonna take a ton of steroids. I'm gonna do.
I don't know that you are.
I'm not naturally peaked enough to do steroids.
I don't think you're mentally stable enough.
Yeah, no, I punch holes for in the
wall.
Yeah,
you would fucking destroy your house.
Oh,
yeah.
Ariel would be like, hey, babe, can we go to the grocery store? And I'd punch a hole. I'd be like, I fucking just sat down.
Yeah, that would not be okay.
Yeah, no. That is
just rage about
nothing.
Just nothing. She's like, babe, I made guacamole.
You know I wanted jalapenos in it.
Did you use lemon instead of lime?
We do both.
I know that's your secret, but god damn it.
It is. The key is.
I know. I've tried the guac. It's really good, and you guys make great guac.
That's the only thing we know how to cook. We know how to cook guac. I know how to...
Cooking guac.
I know how to cook guac. I know how to make...
I know how
cooking
to
up guac in the crock pot.
Yeah.
How was the weekend with Soder?
It was good, man. It was great.
Sacramento?
Yeah, Sacramento kind of sucks as a city.
And here's the thing. I know it's in California. I know it's in the Northwest. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah,
Where is it?
It's in Northern California near the Bay Area.
Okay.
It's like an hour from San Francisco.
It's not in the Bay, though.
It's not in the Bay. It rained the entire weekend. I did go to a bathhouse. I went to a bathhouse.
Like a Roman bath?
No, it sounds a lot more archaic and sexual than it is. It's not sexual. I want to be clear.
You got jacked off in a tub?
No jerking off. Actually, no PDA was one of the big rules there. So there was like a couple rules. Shower before you get in any of the soaks. And no PDA. No peeing in the cold plunge and shit like that. But it was sick, dude. It was like,
it's like a pool?
It was $40. And there's a little locker room. You go out, there's some showers, and then there's a soaking tub, which is basically like a big hot tub.
The Mormons love that place.
Yeah,
Come on, what are we doing?
We love soaking. And then there is
it's like a wave pool that Mormons can fucking.
They just soak with the waves come
it's like,
yeah, that's so funny, dude. Yeah.
There gets a loophole.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
God doesn't see what we're doing.
Yeah.
She's like,
That's so good. But there's that. There's a sauna. There's a steam room. There's a cold plunge. Then there's a courtyard. There's a back room. Another soaking pool. And then there's a eucalyptus sauna, which is really nice. And then this is the dumbest thing. There's a cold bucket shower. So basically, you just go, you stand, you pull a thing, and it dumps freezing cold water.
And then you have to nominate somebody else to go and do it.
Yeah, and it's for ALS.
Yeah. All donations go towards some nonprofit that actually takes all the money.
Yes, precisely. But it was cool. I mean, you feel great afterwards. It was funny because there were specific rules. So like, the first part you had to whisper. You couldn't talk over that because it's like quiet. It's relaxing. And I'm a rule follower. For somebody who used to do drugs and break the law, I love following a rule. It just helps make me feel like I can't be getting in trouble. You know what I mean? So, but then as soon as I got in the sauna, there was a group of white women who were being a little louder than a whisper. And I immediately clocked them and I was like, they are going to be a problem. And then moments later, they left the sauna. They got into the soak. They all were soaking each other. And the noise coming from this area was insane. So they come out, and if you're being too loud, they have a gong that they hit. This place was fucking gay, but it was awesome.
Very funny to be like, you're being loud. Here's a gong.
Well, what's funny is they come out and it's like a peaceful way to remind you to watch your voice. It's like boom, and then it's a passive aggressive white guy being like, just a reminder, this is a whisper only area. If you want to have a conversation, go into the courtyard. It's 45 degrees and raining outside. Go into the courtyard, or we're more than happy to reschedule you for another time when it's our social hour. Like he was just like, it was like women talking and then like gong. And I thought that was going to be it because they stopped talking. And then this just sassy dude just being like, we are more than happy to have you back at another time if you would like to talk. And it's just like, yo, chill out. I thought this place was supposed to be like Zen, And then I was in the back area, which is a no talking area. And
no whispers even?
No whispers. And we were in the sauna, and two women, of course, are whispering to each other. And then another woman is furious about it. And just very nicely, but very like mom passive aggressive, was like, if you guys want to talk, you have to go to the other sauna. This place is silent. And then the two ladies weren't even speaking in English, so they were just kind of like, oh, okay. Kind of like my fucking,
yeah. What ethnicity were what race? Not her, but the sauna.
I think
ladies.
They were Hispanic of some sort. But yeah, there was a whole gaggle of Mexicans there, Mexican women there. It was a nice all inclusive. There was a black guy.
Yeah.
There was two black guys.
Yeah.
Big fat Mexican dude with a stomach tat.
Let's go.
Dude, it was great. This bathhouse was open for all.
Yeah.
Seeing a Vato dip in the cold plunge and be like, ooh. It's like so funny.
It brings me peace of mind.
Yeah. Shit, man, this makes my muscles contract in a way that really fucking lights me up, bro.
I fucking like this. I did a riff. I was doing it all weekend, and I realized I can't be doing it anymore. I was doing well in San Antonio, but I was talking about how Mexican dudes will always disagree with you before they agree with you. They'll be like, you'll say something, you'll be like, oh man, that girl's like fine as hell. And they'll be like, no, for real. And that's what I was saying.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I was doing a bit about that.
That's so good.
I've been doing a bit about that. And then I took it too far. I was feeling myself one of the nights when I was like doing really well. Then I went too far, but they don't sound like that. They're like, no, for real. And then it like fell so flat. And I went, oh yeah, no, this is San Antonio. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's sort of my.
That is funny.
Yeah. Well, I noticed Mexican dudes also, when they agree with you, or when they disagree with you, it sounds like they're agreeing with you as well, because they'll be like, yeah. I don't know about all that. That's like
That's great. That's very like Def Jam comedy.
Yeah. That's very like, go out there. Mexican, where my Mexican people
where
at?
my Mexicans at? Where my Puerto Ricans at?
Yeah.
Ooh, call the police.
Call the police. Yeah. Where the black people at? In the back? Oh yeah, they showed up late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh.
A clip that I made that I've never posted. That one.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I've never posted
but
that.
After the bathhouse, you guys just did what? 5 shows? 5
shows,
That's so
dude.
Sick.
It was sick, bro. We went into a thrift shop that was ran by autistic people.
Oh, Goodwill.
Yeah, basically. It was all over the whole place, the signage. And I was kind of like, this is cool. Like it's basically like we teach autistic people to like have jobs. And I was like, great. And then I got to the counter.
And they're also a no talk.
Yeah, it's also
the
whisper. It's like the bathhouse.
Yeah.
It's a whisper. You don't want to.
Except instead of a gong, some guy comes in and goes, you can't. He rubs it.
Jesus Christ.
We have a.
We have a whispering only rule. Yeah, but then I get to the checkout and it was very obvious that it was ran by autistic people.
He just immediately has your change. You give him $1. He's like, that'll be 14 cents.
Yeah, I just walked up. I was like, this is it, and he goes, and then just like did it, and then it was just like he tapped the thing for me to scan, and I scanned it, and then he was just like, a good day. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty autistic.
You grabbed the
that was timid autism.
Yeah.
Because there's also aggressive autism. There's the autism where people truly they're outgoing, but they don't understand social cues.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when the fun stuff happens.
Yeah.
Really. That's when you get people saying wild shit.
That's
like, whoa.
the everybody that you grew up with in high school that were like there's a specific type of kid who has mild autism that's in every class that will like overshare.
Yeah.
And like he'll be like, actually, when I did my research on, and you're just like, oh my, there's a kid named Damien that was in my community college because his name was Damien, by the way. That's such a mild autism name, Damien. And he used to do that thing where he would be like, professor, just so you know, I do have to get out and I have to leave precisely at 1:50. I have an appointment today. I have and then it's just like everybody else is just like, you could just
college.
Just leave.
Yeah,
just leave.
You pay for this. You can just go.
One of those type of guys that would be. You know what? It's the Reddit guys. It's like the guys. Have you seen? There's TikTok guys There's TikTok guys who would be like. There's a TikToker who makes videos of like an like one of the Reddit people, and it's just mild autism when they're like, they'll say things like, yeah, of course someone like you would think that, it's very much that vibe of, well, and that's who's checking you out as being like, I personally wouldn't have went with the,
I personally don't understand why you would get the black mesh shorts instead of the bathing suit that is $4 more.
Yeah,
it seems like you're going to the bathhouse, which is weird to me.
Yeah. Just judging.
You're going to get into water with all the other people. It doesn't seem very sanitary. Anyways, that'll be $7.50.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, it was cool. I mean, they got to work.
I think that whenever I think of Goodwill, I think about my buddy. I had a buddy. This is crazy. I had a friend when I was in the
His name was Will, and he was a good guy.
And he was a Goodwill. It was a Goodwill hunting.
I hate that.
And he no, let's clip that one out. And but I had a buddy who worked at I had a buddy who I wasn't friends with somebody who worked at Goodwill. My buddy who was in the military with me one time told me that he was he was with a girl, they were thrifting. And then he found out they were like he was thinking they were gonna fuck, but he wanted to jack off before he fucked just so it could like last longer. So he cranked it in the Goodwill's changing room.
Wow.
And I went, that's first of all a crime. Also to do it at a place where people have to get dropped off to go to work is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They're not they're having to take
to make
either taking a bus or their mom is dropping them off.
To make
there.
An ex-con clean your comm out of a changing room is really not
brutal.
Cool. Yeah, that is gnarly, but I have jerked off in just as weird of places, which I know is something over the course of our podcasting career we've talked about ad nauseum. But
there's not a single place that I've worked at that you've worked at that we haven't just
100%. Yeah, a classic. I also though I
mean I jacked off here. You were gone for 4 minutes before you.
I knew I fucking smelled it.
You left. You left the door open. I went. I got time. I got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I got 2 minutes in Google, which is also funny. Did you see the thing about North Korean soldiers?
Yeah,
dude. I was laughing so hard. There was videos leaking of them. They were all on Reddit. These dudes were like in a bunk and they were like outside. There's a full war going on there in the Ukraine. And the guys are like, we have to go. There's the war. They need backup right now. And these North Korean dudes were just like on their phones, like jacking off. Like They had never used the internet, and so they were just on the internet.
The real internet.
Yeah, not like the real internet. Like it's like the same way that like if you watched you remember like the proxies that they put on all the websites when you were in high school where you couldn't go to a certain website? That's like what they have for internet.
Yeah.
And then now they're in the Ukraine and they have like cell phone service for the first time ever, and they're just all like Googling.
But I mean, could you imagine? I mean, think about.
It's like doing heroin for the first time and not even smoking a cigarette or something. You're just going all in on.
And think about when you were a kid and like your limited access to porn and like the way you would try to get it. Like, I mean, I took down 2 like desktop computers on LimeWire trying to get porn. Yeah. You know what I mean? And a laptop as well. And then like I would steal like magazines from my dad, and like I would like sneak out to watch HBO late at night, hoping that there was some,
Channel 14. You get the blurry the lines that would come over, and you could get the frames. Did you ever see those channels?
No.
They were like half blocked. Like they were like those channels that were like Skinamax type channels.
Yeah.
But they would come in on our cable for free, but it was like very blurry.
No.
So you could like watch softcore porn, but it would be like pixelated and like staticky.
Porn, yeah.
It's almost like you're not even watching it at all, but you're 15, so you're like, yeah.
Then imagine.
Or 7.
However
old I was.
Because now you've gone your whole life. It's like, now you've gone your entire life, and you know what sex is like. You know what jerking off is. They probably know what porn is. They just don't have access to like
they understand the concept.
They understand the concept of like wanting to watch sex.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, "What about watching this girl spread her asshole open?" And they're like, "That's an option." Holy shit!
You can see that? You can see anything like that?
You're telling me what any girl that I've ever fantasized about, I can watch her get spit on?
A version of her have anything happen.
And I mean, they're in North Korea, so all the girls they have crushes on are basically the same person anyway.
Yeah.
I can watch.
It is funny to, I mean, it's just, are North Koreans fucking? They have to be.
Yeah, I mean, they got to procreate, I guess. I don't know how, like, imagine being like the kinkiest North Korean.
You just eat food in front of her.
Yeah.
They have a real problem with food.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't have food. They're not given food.
No. They have to earn it.
Yeah.
They have to like farm it. That's so sad.
It is actually kind of
They should just like come here. What are they, stupid or something?
Yeah, like just get
leave.
here. Do you remember? But this is America, though. Like
this is America.
We won't even like. Remember when Rogan had on that lady who escaped North Korea,
and she just lied the whole time?
I don't think she did.
Oh, everybody did.
But
everybody was like, she was talking about eating bugs, and it's like, man, all right.
Well, okay. Either way, she told this like very harrowing story of like escaping North Korea, and then for a month after that, everybody was like, "Did you see her fucking tits?"
Yeah.
That was it. That was all.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, man, this is like land of the free. It's cool that she got here, or like whatever. It was just like her tits are huge. You're telling me
nice,
bugs made those tits?
Yeah. Those are bugs,
and then of course like Schultz was on after, and he was the fucking heavies on there.
Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah,
caterpillars. He was like, eating caterpillars make your tits grow. Anyways, I mean, also they're sending them to the Ukraine and they're just getting like slaughtered. Because they're untested and they're military attack. They haven't been in a conflict in like 70, 80, 90 years. So like warfare is like, the thing about like war, it's just like anything else. But the thing about like war is that you get better at it by doing it. So
practice makes perfect.
Exactly. So
why do you think we're in a foreign conflict all the time?
Yeah, we're number one.
Practicing.
Our tactics evolved so much since the last Korean warfare that like just modern warfare has evolved so much that when the Ukraine, if you watch their tactics are like, dude, there's dudes who can clear out like entire bunkers and dug in trenches and everything in like 2 minutes with like ease. Like they can just like they're so methodical. They've done it 1,000 times. And then you send these kids who are North Koreans who don't even want to be there in the first place. And then they've been trained by dudes who haven't experienced any conflict. So they're just kind of going off of like what the rules of like the previous instructions say. So they're going off of like, it'd be like trying to fix a car, a modern car now with the computers and the chips and all the technology. But then you're working on like it's like trying to work on a car with a Model T, it would like a 1920s instruction manual.
Sending Jerry West into the NBA now.
Yeah,
he'd be like the point guard guarding me is 6'9".
Yeah, they'd be like, what?
Are you fucking kidding me?
And so these dudes are getting slaughtered, and then it's just like the Ukraine is just like, they're like they're not like the soldiers are like, this is like we don't want to do this to them.
Yeah.
Which is also funny to be like, keep them out.
Yeah.
It's almost like,
stop.
well, it's the same thing with you. You want to hear what's funny? Do you remember I've been talking about how my dad has been taking Percocets and looking up at the sky, seeing UFOs?
Is it the drones?
Dude, I was doing that joke before all of this started, and because he's been calling me.
But I thought the drones were over like New Jersey.
They are, but they're reported everywhere now. There's people in Argentina. There's people in Florida. There's people there was people posting in New Mexico. Like they're being posted everywhere. So now I'm thinking my dad isn't actually just like a perk head. I'm thinking like maybe he was genuinely seeing these
drones
things because he's probably there's 20,000 people in my hometown. He's one of the only guys looking up at the sky at 7 p.m.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nodding off, just whoa.
Yeah.
So it's like, what if he actually was?
What are those drones supposed to be? What's the thing? Like, what's the like nobody knows, right? Or like the government won't tell us.
I think that here's the most informed opinion or the most informed answer you're gonna get from the most reliable source.
Yes,
me.
The Friendly Fire Podcast.
Friendly Fire Podcast. When I'm looking through TikTok and Instagram and Reddit all night, loaded up on pre-workout.
It's Iran.
Well, there's a couple theories. Have you heard the lost nuke theory?
Oh, yes, but not say it anyways.
So there's a theory that somehow, some way, a nuclear device was misplaced or got lost in transportation or something. And since it's been off the grid, they don't know where it's at, so they're trying to locate it. So they're now implementing these drones to look for it. And these are drones that they've had for a while that they haven't deployed ever. So now it's the first time seeing them. Here's the thing. So that's one theory, is that they're deploying these drones to look for them. And now people who are thinking they're not earthly are stupid because they're compatible with the drones that they're using all follow the regulations that are mandated by military operations. Like you have to have certain colors, and they all follow those guidelines to indicate like this is a friendly aircraft.
Okay,
that's green and red lights. You have to have strobing when you're in friendly territory, and they all do that. So it's like
that also
us.
kind of takes out their foreign.
Now there's a difference between the drones and the orbs. That's the thing. There's
I didn't know about the orbs.
There's two different things now. So so now the other thought is, so the first thought is the drones are us. We don't know why they're deployed. That's the truth. And now
the government hasn't told us.
And the government hasn't told us, and they're not going to. So the first thought is the drones are looking for a nuke. Right. That's the first type. But the second time is they're investigating these orbs. They don't know what the orbs are. So then people are saying, we know that the orbs, here's what we do know about the orbs from the most reliable source. What we know from the orbs is that they seem to move without sound. They don't show up on radar, and they affect radio waves. So have you seen those videos where there's people who are recording from their phones up looking at these orbs? And their cars' radio signals, like it fucks up. The lights around them get all fucked up. There's some type of.
I've not seen those. Videos.
There's some type of.
Freak me the fuck out.
There's some type of UAV or electronic EMS, electronic whatever signal.
Yeah.
It's blocking radar. These things are blocking radar. So that could be. The other thing is they're investigating, and it could be a foreign enemy.
That could be the enemy.
That could be the enemy. The orbs could be the enemy. It could be an alien. It could be another government thing that we just don't know about yet. Nobody knows what it is. I think the most logical thing for me is it's a military operation. Mm-hmm. They're testing something. Mm-hmm. It's the same way that they tested COVID. This is also maybe putting my tinfoil hat on, but it's also how they. A lot of people thought that, and I think that this is true too. Before you go into a place, you'll do like recon, right? That's like a thing. What you'll do is you'll test to see, okay, they do. It's on a very small scale, like military operations. If you're gonna go and let's say you're gonna set up an ambush, you want to know how your enemy's gonna react. So you'll do something called a contact patrol. So what you'll do is you'll just send like a squad out, and then you go and your whole mission is we're gonna engage with the enemy. And we're going to see what they do to us. How do they respond? When we go up to them, we're going to see how they respond.
Damn, being a part of that group sucks.
Yeah. And so
it's like, we're going to send you in and we want them to shoot at you.
Yes. And then they do. Yeah. They go. And so what they'll do is they'll send a patrol and they go, your whole job is to engage and then disengage. You shoot and then you withdraw. And then what they do is they see, okay, how many people are there? What type of tactics are they working with? What type of do they have small arms? Do they have machine guns? Do they have armory, artillery, whatever? So the whole idea is to get recon on them. So another theory is we're getting China is testing to see what happens if we deploy this new technology, these orbs. What is their response? How do they respond to us? Because when we launch a massive scale attack with these orbs everywhere, what do? So I think that's probably it's probably the most reliable. You saw it with COVID too. People were saying that COVID, a lot of military experts were saying that COVID is sort of a response test to see like, okay, they launched like a flu, which is obviously killed a lot of people, but it was more of like, how quickly can we get shit shut down and how quickly can we try to crash their economy? Because warfare isn't just like you line up and shoot at each other anymore. It's how do you affect their economy? How do you affect their social class system? How do you affect the thought process of? It's the whole thing with TikTok being like how it manipulates your thoughts and how you're like supposed to be like how they say that like China's algorithm only promotes technology advancements and like gym feeds, and ours is just like guys farting into a microphone being like, yeah, look at the diarrhea.
Ours is just like clips of our
us
podcast
going viral. Yeah, and it's like that's crazy. And
yeah, so dude, damn, you're waking me up right now,
and
brother.
So I think that
you're igniting me.
I'm trying to not get too.
China's getting.
I'm not trying to get too tinfoily.
Yeah,
but I do think that
those are all reasonable.
I do think that that's the most. I think that's the most reasonable interpretation of all of this.
I would like to think that China wouldn't attack us, but I also don't know much about the military. And it does make sense that even if they're not planning to, they're just kind of like, we got some shit cooking up in the lab. We got this new shit called COVID-19.
Yeah.
And let's just see what would happen if we kind of let it, like we're not planning one, but we want to know how they're going to respond. Makes perfect sense.
Well, that's exactly how it's It's just everything. It's just how everything works. It's just like I
got COVID 3 times. I survived. China can't kill me,
nah,
motherfucker.
Bro. Yeah, and I got the iPhone 15, boy. Come fuck with me, boy.
Shit. Come on, man.
Try to fuck with me. Anyways.
I'm going to be on TikTok. Take my location. See if you pull up.
Pull up.
China.
That's how they're going to track everybody, dude.
I know, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Like the heat signal would just be us like on TikTok, like in a fucking, like we're in a bunker. We're just like trying to get some fucking last minute scrolls. Get some dopamine hits. We've been hiding out.
Be like, he's in his bed with his chin on his chest staring at TikTok right now. He's watching Cops Be Wrong. He's watching Cops Be Wrong.
Get in there.
He's watching a First Amendment auditor right now freak out on a public servant. Like,
I watched.
Dude, I was up to like 2:30 last night. I got in bed at like midnight because I was like tired as fuck from the weekend and traveling and everything. And then I was just watching.
When did you get home?
I got home on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But yesterday I went to do a cruise show and then I came home and I got in bed at like midnight and then I just fucking chin to chest, neck hurt like a motherfucker. Just watching videos,
just crushing the bone structure.
Dude, just literally like fucking with my posture and watching people get like, pissed at cops basically. Yeah. Just like a kid in a river and some cop being like, you can't be here. And he's like, you guys don't own the river. And I was
dude,
like,
I watched that video.
It's the 2 kids.
Yeah, you can't. And the guy that's like, this is my property.
This is my property. He's like, you can't own the water. The cops told us we could be in this river. And then
I just watched that.
That's so
literally
sad.
just watched
we're
that.
in the same algo.
Well, I watched that one too. And did you see the one where the cops tried to investigate the lawyer who was also like a contractor who was selling a roof to somebody? There's this video where this guy's in a suburb. This lawyer is pulled over. He's just waiting for the guy who owns this house in a suburb to arrive.
Awesome.
And these cops pull up and then they just are like lying to this lawyer who's like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And he doesn't disclose that he's a lawyer. So the whole time he gets arrested and he goes, right when he gets arrested, he goes, I'm going to sue the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah.
It's so good. And they do.
Dude, they win all the time.
Because the cops are like, you're trespassing. The guy goes, I'm not trespassing. This isn't a private property. This is public. I'm on the road, which is a public. He starts citing codes and everything. And the cop just can't be wrong. You know, it's all a battle of ego.
It really is. It really is.
They go, I don't give a fucking shit if you think you know the fucking law. This is me telling you right now, you're impeding on an investigation. And he goes, but in order for me to be detained, I have to be suspected of a crime. What crime am I suspected of? And the guy goes, trespassing. He goes, I can't be trespassed here. I'm on public property.
Exactly.
And then he's like, have I committed a traffic violation? Are you accusing me of committing a traffic? And the guy goes, well, you can't be you're not parked on the road. And he goes, yeah, I'm on the side of the road, which then he cites another code and he goes, which allows drivers to be on the side of the car. And then he's just like, call your department head. I want you. And then the cop goes into the car and then calls his lawyer friend. And the lawyer friend is like, well, you can't do anything. You can only just, if anything, you can release him and wait for him to commit a traffic violation and then pull him over afterwards. And the cop goes, I'm going to get this motherfucker. And then he tried. And then like, it's
crazy to have that conversation on a body cam.
Yes, by the way, turn the body cam off.
Yeah, because they can.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they should, but it's like, if you're going to be a fucking retard, at least be smart about it.
Dude.
You know?
Yeah.
Dude, I love it really is. It's wild because, and I will say this, not every video I watch, I'm not always on the citizen side. Have you heard of sovereign citizens? These people who are like off the grid, so they'll be driving in a car that hasn't been registered for a decade and get pulled over with no license, and they go, I don't drive, I travel. Have you heard of this statute and this and this and that? And it's just like a cop being like, I ran your plates, your car is not registered, your license is expired, that is illegal.
You have no insurance.
And the people are just like, I don't know what loopholes or whatever, those people bother the fuck out of me. But sometimes when it's that, and it's just a cop who is just like, because I'm telling you this, you're doing this, it's like,
that's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Yeah, dude. Oh, don't get me fired up, dude.
I love those.
I love watching those videos so much, dude. I'm happy I've gotten away from the guy who shows up to the library.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to like a cop actually being wrong.
Being a dickhead.
Because then it's like, this guy's being a dick. I just hope that TikTok can teach me enough to where if a cop ever does that, I can sue them for $250,000.
And then you're just set.
Yeah, and then you're just good. Because that's what people do. Like, I watched one of, it's actually like it turned into a statute. It happened in Austin, where basically they stop this black guy, classic move, and they want him to identify himself. And he goes, you have to have reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime. Do you have that? And they, don't really have it. And they're like, we just want your ID so that we can see if you have any warrants. If it comes back clear, you're good. And he's like, this is not like a stop and ID state. You can't just stop me because I'm being a person and ID me. And he ended up winning. Like they wrote it into law because of him here, and he got like $200,000. And it's just like, yeah, that's worth it
for like 1 day of inconvenience.
That's worth it. Yeah, for like a day. I mean, listen, you probably had to go to court and all that shit, but it's like, yeah, dude, that's totally worth it.
Yeah, $200K a year doing it, baby.
Yeah, dude,
I take that.
I'm in.
I take that every day.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
Yeah,
but. More than likely,
well, it just sucks being white because it's like,
it's like I'm just
gonna get away with it.
They're gonna just come up and be like, "Do you have your license?" And I'll be like, "Yeah," and I'll give it to them, and they'll go, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, dude, I saw a video. Okay, you know the crime. There's the saying like, "Don't commit a crime if you're committing a crime" or whatever.
Yes,
I saw a video of a dude. I've been on the. Oddly, I've been on TikTok, or not TikTok, but YouTube about the same type of videos.
Let's go.
And this one kid got pulled over. He's like a 16-year-old kid. And he got pulled over going like 88 in a 55. Gross. The cop pulls him over, and there's bullet holes all on the windshield. And he didn't even notice them because they were like, it was like a black tinted thing, but it was like legal tint and whatever. But they were just like kind of like hidden from like, you wouldn't be able to notice them just passing by. It's like when you're close, you can see that, that there's bullet holes. And this cop is like, what the fuck? And so he goes back and he starts running the guy's information and the plates, and the car is like not registered to the person who's driving. And the guy's just like, he's like, who is this? And the kid tells him a story. He's like, I'm just driving my brother's car to his house, whatever. Well, then the cop smells that there's like weed in the car, and the kid's like, I do have a roach. And the cop goes, well, I'm just gonna have to search the whole thing. He opens the trunk and there's a dead body in it. And the kid killed the owner of the car, put him in the trunk, and then was driving and was going like 95 on a 55 and got arrested.
What the fuck?
And it's like, just slow down.
Slow down. Also,
don't kill somebody, first of all, but also slow down.
Let's start at the beginning.
Don't kill anybody.
Kill somebody and steal their car.
But also, if you do, hey, drive 57.
The speed limit, dude. Yeah, drive a little over it.
You gotta go a little. You can't go. You can't go 53 because then they're gonna go, this guy's not speeding.
This guy's.
There's a no win. I do that all the time.
He's going 53 and a 55. I smell a dead body.
I smell a dead body. I got it. The cadaver dog.
This guy. Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
I like watching videos like that. I like watching those videos. Well, it just rots my brain though. There's nothing positive that comes from watching these videos, but it's just like my guilty pleasure.
It kept me up to like 2:30 last night because I was tired as fuck, and then I start watching those videos. They make my fucking blood boil, dude.
Yeah.
They make me. I start getting hyped up. I start getting spooky. I start getting angry.
Getting spooked out?
Yeah. Sometimes you get a little spooked out. I watched one. And it's so funny because I'll watch and search for like part 1, part 2 till like part 7 on TikTok. All of it is just a YouTube video I could watch the entirety of.
Yeah.
But I go all over it. And then one was like, there was just like this party, this guy, belligerent, they were trying to get him to leave, and they were like trying to shove him in his car, and he just like stabbed a guy in the fucking neck.
I saw that video.
And then
it was his sister's, was it his sister's birthday or something? His brother-in-law's birthday.
He was dating this girl, and the girl's brother was hosting the party.
Dude, we must be watching the same video. You're on TikTok, I'm on YouTube.
Yeah. I ended up watching it on YouTube because I was but yeah, dude, it's just
He's like I tried to poke him a little.
In the it's
he
like,
describes murdering a guy as poking him a little.
In the end, there's no good that comes. I didn't learn anything.
No.
I didn't feel better. I just felt bad because I was like,
oh, I just watched a blurred murder.
I was like, I just watched like a really sad story of like multiple people's lives being ruined.
Yes.
It's like this guy's going to go to jail for 20 years to life because he reacted in what could be argued to be self-defense, but was also a wild overreaction.
Yeah.
Some kid lost, some baby, the guy who died had like a 9-month-old. And then the girlfriend also went to jail for like a year and a half or something. It's just like,
and the kid died. They died. Also.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, the guy who died had a kid too. Yeah. It's like
all of it,
like,
and then the house that they were living at too. The kid that stabbed him. Did you see the house that the Child Protective Services got called?
No,
because there was like
bad?
Dog shit and piss everywhere. They like
I heard that
they estimated that like the dog hadn't shit outside of the house in like what seemed to be like 8 months. That's
dark,
dude. It
bro.
had a poop room. The dog, you know, a house is bad when a dog has a bathroom.
When I was
the dog goes, I'm going into the second bedroom.
When I was on drugs, like when it was getting like pretty bad, it wasn't at its worst, but it was nearing its peak. I lived on a 3rd-story apartment, and I had a brand new puppy, and we had a balcony. And a lot of the times I'd be fucked up. It would be cold. I didn't want to walk down 5 flights of fucking stairs, and I would just let the dog shit on the balcony.
Yeah.
And that was as worse as it got.
Did you have puppy pads and stuff out?
Sometimes, yeah. And then sometimes we wouldn't, and then I would just
flick it,
scoot it off, and then wash the
Yeah. That's dude. I remember so in my hometown, the north side is very notorious for being like the poor, like ratchet side, which is also funny to be poor in Mason City, Iowa means you have $5,000 a year.
Yeah, dude, you are
poor,
real poor.
Like you're like you're not you're actively not working on purpose to be that poor.
Yeah.
If you made $20,000 in Iowa, you could afford a house.
That's so crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like your payments are like $700 a month. It's like, anyways. I remember going to a party in the north end when I was home on leave, and this is also when the girl that I was dating started to go to like raves. And when a white girl starts going to raves, she starts hanging out with people she shouldn't.
Yeah.
The second she starts going, I'm gonna go to Electric Force, she also starts like buying Molly and sucking dudes off for coke.
Yeah.
And
when your girlfriend starts doing whippets to EDM music, it's over.
Yeah, when your lady is when she's listening to Skrillex when she's listening to Skrillex in the back of a car with the bass bumping and she was like, you feel it? It's like, yeah, you're done, buddy.
Eventually, the feeling isn't enough, and she needs to have her pussy played with.
Yes,
by the guy who sold her the whippets.
By the guy with the white guy with dreadlocks.
Yeah, I was about to say whose hair is just as long as hers.
Yeah, and he's a white guy with dreadlocks. He wears bracelets everywhere.
Yep.
And he smells like shit constantly, but he's also like a nice guy, so it kind of makes you conflicted. You're like, do I fucking want to beat the shit out of this guy or not?
Yeah.
But anyway, so she took me to a party that was at a house in the north side. And it was like fine. It was just a bunch of people that I didn't know, a bunch of like kids who I knew of from high school that were like all like the poor, like kind of gross kids.
Yeah.
That's like who was hanging out at these places. And I went down to the basement with the owner to do a little tootski. And I went down there and there was shit and piss from a dog. And it was like a lot. And the whole place smelled. And then I was like, is that your dog's? And the dog was down there and it was a pit bull. And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like, you just like let him shit and piss down here? And he was like, yeah, you know, like once every other 2 weeks I have my kid come and clean it up. And I was like, this is crazy that I'm here. I was like, I'm gonna do my bump, and then I'm gonna leave. You're gonna give me a free bump.
Give me that Coke, and then I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm gonna do a little.
Yeah, dude, it's one thing to let it happen. It's another thing to like.
It's part of my routine.
Yeah, like it's another thing to like.
She's like, yeah, I just
bring people into it.
yeah. It's like keep it in the dark if you're doing that.
Yeah, like if I ever would have had anybody over that was like, hey, like I'm gonna like smoke a cigarette. I'd be like, we're gonna go out of the front door. We're not gonna go to the balcony.
No, yeah, we're not going to the balcony. Yeah, we're gonna
like,
keep it in the fucking hidden.
You're gonna smoke it inside. Honestly, that's the way I lived.
Yeah. You're gonna smoke. You're gonna smoke indoors.
Is it under 50 degrees? Oh, it's too cold.
Just smoke inside. Just smoke it inside. I'll start the fan.
Dude, cigs inside was crazy.
It's my brother. It ruins the walls. My brother used to smoke cigarettes
100%.
inside in my parents' house, and my mom was like, one day she was like, "This is crazy. You have to leave." And then she washed the walls. She had to repaint. Dude, she washed the walls like 4 times and smokes still. Like it fucks the walls up.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy that he would smoke inside of your.
Yeah, it was so rude.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eli. But,
no, but it's okay.
But he was 17 at the time, 18.
Oh, that's actually kind of a boss move there.
Yeah, well, I think they were kind of like. It was like one of those things where it's like we'd rather him smoke cigarettes inside the house. No, my mom hated it.
Yeah, of course.
That's also, it was nice living with him though, because when I started doing drugs, I could just put him in his room.
Nice.
Never, because they were like, yeah, Eli smokes weed. So
you were more worried about him finding it than.
Yeah. Well, he used to sell a little, and so I used to just be able to go up and slip him 20 and just take like a couple G's and then just fucking a couple grand, baby.
Yeah, that's nice. I used to have the same thing with one of my roommates.
He'd just be like, yeah, dude, I took like 1.5. I left you 20, and he'd be like, okay, well maybe just take 1 gram next time.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Yeah.
So fun.
I miss those days, dude. I was not like thinking about smoking weed, but like being with Soder and Sagalo, they smoke. They're not like they're potheads, but they're not like just.
They're not like let's
blitzed
do
all
it,
day,
man. Yeah.
But like they do it in like a very like fun way, and I was like, damn, that looks nice.
Yeah.
Like smoke a big joint and like go eat breakfast. I'm like, oh, that looks good.
Fun times.
Yeah, or like when you're done with the shows for the weekend and you're just like, let's just smoke like a fat blunt.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll just like sit here and watch you guys.
Yeah. Dude.
Weed is sick. Let's just be honest, man. If you make it your entire personality, you're a fucking loser for the most part. Like if you're over 23 years old and you're like the Rick and Morty pothead, you're a loser. But like weed's tight as fuck.
Yeah, dude. We had you know what? This is funny, kid. Because I did San Antonio. It was my first weekend headlining everybody.
Yeah, dude.
It was
How
super
was that?
sick. Well, this is funny. I got hit up to host for somebody at San Antonio. They hit me up, and I was like, I don't fucking. The person wasn't somebody that I was like stoked to open for. It was like I was gonna do it just because it's the right thing to do. If a club asks you to do it, you go, yeah. And I was fucking annoyed. I was like, I don't want to fucking drive all the way down there. The last time I took a weekend there, it was like not super fun. It wasn't a good hang. And I ended up losing money because my fucking windshield got cracked on the way back. So I was like, that's crazy. I don't want to do that again. But I agreed to do it. And then I was talking with Ariel, and I was like, I just fucking don't want to do it. And she was like, I think that like this is like one of those things where you do it because it's the right thing to do, and then something good comes from it. It's like you're doing what you're supposed to do type thing. So I agreed to it, and then at like Wednesday at like, so that was like when I got hit up like Wednesday at like 6 p.m. to do it. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And that was for Thursday. And then at like 9 p.m. the GM calls me and it's like, dude, she just bailed. Can you just come and do the whole weekend and headline it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
It's so crazy because there is a reality so close to the one that you were in where you made up an excuse for why you couldn't host.
Yes.
And then they never would have asked you because they would go, oh, well, he's busy.
Yeah.
He has a bar mitzvah to be at.
Yeah, exactly.
Said,
yeah.
You know, or whatever.
Exactly.
You know?
And so I did the right thing, and then I got that weekend, and it was sick. I thought it was my first time doing, because I've done like headlining spots, but when you do like headlining spots at other places, it's like 30 minutes and there's 25 people there.
Yeah.
And this is the first time where there was like, the first show was pretty bad. It was like 30 people, which is still fun, but it's like a huge venue.
That room is huge.
But then the weekend, like Friday, had like probably like 90 people. Then Saturday, 2 shows both had like, I think the first one had like 80 and the second one had 60. So it was like a good chunk amount. And I was like, oh, I can actually do it. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it for whatever reason. So it felt cool to actually do it and be like, oh, okay. Because the weird thing about comedy that, I don't know, not to get too much inside baseball, because here's the thing I realized about comics. It's sort of like when a writer writes a movie about a writer, where it's like, everybody's going to love this because and it's like, no, you're just a writer. So that's why you're writing a movie about a writer. Nobody gives a fuck about writers. Same with comics. Like, I think comedians tend on podcasts, especially like whatever. It's like, it is interesting, but also I think people get off to the weeds. Like, nobody wants to hear somebody talk about comedy for an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
It's like, so not to get too into weeds about
I think it's going to be okay.
all of it. I know, but it's just the thing I noticed, and it just bothered me on podcasts when it's like, well, dude, I saw so-and-so murder. And then it's an hour-long story about how cool that venue is. And it's like, the listeners are just like, dude, I just want to hear somebody talk about whatever. Anyways, sorry. But I was just like, you do stand up so much that it's so odd, because you constantly go, I like this joke, it works. And then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it's like not working as well. And then a month later, you're not even doing the joke. And then 2 weeks later after that, you're bringing it back and it's working. So it's like this weird thing of like, you never really know what what works, but you don't know how much time you can collectively do and if it'll work well. And so I always thought that I had X amount of time. I thought I had like 30, 40 minutes where I'm like, this is good enough. Yeah. But I think I can like crush for 25. Yeah. And then I did it and it went really well all weekend. And I was like, oh yeah, you get two in your head. Yeah. You get two in your head of also standards that you think everything should happen, because when you just go up there and you do it, it's like you just trust that the stuff that you spent 5.5 years doing every day will work, and it does. And you're like, oh yeah.
You go, I forgot this does work. That's why why I'm even thinking about it now. Yeah. Is because it does.
Because I did it for 6 months. I said this joke every day for 6. I will say that what sucked was ending on the worst show of the weekend for the weekend was the late show on Saturday, which felt bad because like the Saturday show early was like fire, and then the late show Saturday was like, I was like, okay, this could get weird. This feels like I'm earning the weekend, where I was like, all right, a guy was heckling because Dillon Carlino came, which also felt weird to have somebody who's like, I mean, way more established, literally been doing comedy double the time I have, who I think is insanely funny, does like been on Netflix and shit. And then I'm like, hey, will you open for? It felt weird. He was very cool, very obvious. We love Dillon, and he was like murdering all weekend, which felt good too, because I was like, my thought with getting somebody that was like that good was like literally like, if they don't like me, they'll at least love the first guy. Do you know what I mean?
Like leave disappointed.
Exactly. They might just go, I didn't like that last guy, but the first guy was great. Type of thought was what I had. Hosted? It was just like Patrick. Yeah.
Okay.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, but like, so Dillon got on stage, and I knew that the weekend was gonna be bad. Well, not the weekend. The last show was gonna be bad because Dillon has a joke about who's got like the biggest dick in the room type thing, and within like 2 minutes of a set, some fucking hillbilly guy was just like, you got the biggest asshole. And then I was like, what? And he's like, I talking like that, you get fucked in your ass. And it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, don't.
It's like he's kind of trying to be funny, but he's also being pretty homophobic.
Yeah.
To just be like, well, your asshole's the biggest because you get fucked in the ass because you're fucking
And then
gay.
Dillon like got him on. Bro. Dillon like embarrassed him. Dillon handled it really well because Dillon's a great comic. Yeah. But it was just one of those things when within 2 minutes of Dillon, who was like ripping, getting a guy to be like that, and then everybody starts chit-chatting, and immediately it's like, I was like, oh, well, Dillon's murdering right now, and they're still rowdy. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's like, it's not like they were like settled in and whatever. It was like, oh, so when I got on, by the time check drop happens, after all of that, I'm like, all right.
That's crazy.
I asked a kid, this was the most insane moment of the weekend. I asked a kid in San Antonio, I went, what do you do? Like, he was like a 22-year-old kid, and he was like talking about how much money he made. And I heard him say it
very
loudly
cool.
he said something to his girlfriend where he was like, I mean, they don't even know I make $110,000 a year. He like said it loudly, and I went, what? And then I was like, what? And he goes, I'm a contractor, or I'm a land developer. And so I was like,
Cool.
what? I was like, I thought this was funny. Nobody did, but I was like, what do you mean you're a land developer? I thought, isn't all the land been developed? Yeah, doesn't it already exist? Is what I thought, and nobody liked it.
Yeah.
But
Everybody hated it.
everybody thought it. But then he said, I was like, what does that mean? And he goes, well, I scout locations out, and then I build houses. And I went, oh, so like contractors come, or somebody builds houses. And I went, oh, so contractors come and build them. He goes, Mexicans come and build them. And everybody went, boo, like. And I'm talking.
Yeah, of course. Did you're in
San Antonio,
and he was white,
and he was a white kid. It was like just a rich white kid who got his job. It was just nepotism. He just got his job, and then it was like I had to get myself out of that hole. I was just like,
that's
such a
crazy.
right. I mean, I'm talking. I'm
Because the
50,
booze are at him,
Yeah.
but now you have to save it.
Exactly, and I'm 52 minutes. Like I've done all of my material. I was
gotta get out.
I was just trying to get out.
Yeah.
And it was just like I had to save it, and it just like didn't. None of it was like I was like, we don't fucking say that.
That's so
And then people were just like more
crazy,
like
bro.
on my side with being like, that was insane that you said that. And then it
Yeah.
was like, that was a good ending to the show.
Yeah.
At one point I was like, I just like looked at my phone. I literally opened my phone. I was like, I don't even know how to get out of here. And I looked at my phone and I was like going through notes to just try to see if I had anything that would be funny to throw in last second. And then all I did was like, I just texted my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, keep the gun loaded when I get home. And then that got like a pop, and I went, oh, that's my time. I went, thank you so much for fucking letting me end on a suicide
Get
joke.
one pop and skedaddle
Like,
immediately.
it was brutal. But other than
That's
that, great
nuts,
weekend.
dude.
That was the
Yeah.
summary of my weekend, was going and doing. I had more people come out. I had way more people come out than I realized. Like,
Sick, dude.
like 60, 70 people came out because they either knew me through social media or like saw me with Che or,
Oh, and, like,
or Maddie, and then
recognized.
they saw that I was
Yeah.
coming back.
That's awesome,
And
dude.
yeah, gained a lot of followers.
Yeah,
It
dude,
was
that's the
sick.
great part about like Soder taking me is like
Yeah, you
I
come
go,
back.
I do good, I get followers, and then like literally like I did Houston, and then like a month later I headlined in Houston,
And then
so then people
The people came
from
back
that.
to
Yeah,
the
it
full
was
sets,
great.
and
it
and
was
that's how
awesome.
that's how it starts.
Yeah, we didn't have anything too crazy. I did realize when I got there that California doesn't have flavored nicotine. So like none of the like Swishers are flavored. Not that bothers me, but the Zins are all just
Who
like.
would it bother?
Uh-huh.
Who would it bother that the Swishers aren't
Like
flavored?
potheads, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to make it.
I can't get no grape
That's
Swishers.
exactly. Yeah, sorry. We'll
I
cut
know.
that part.
I know what you wanted. to be clear, I didn't want to have to do that. You got that out of me. I knew what you wanted. I just wanted to talk.
You didn't have to go great, by the way.
I was trying to please the crowd.
I'll cut that.
But yeah, I get there with like 2 of mine left, and then I'm done, and then I go to
You
the
smuggled.
store. I didn't even know. I didn't think about it, and I get there, and they're awful. The not flavored ones are fucking terrible. So I kept talking about it on stage, and people would just like fucking throw Zin to me on stage, and like after the show would give me Zin. It was crazy.
Hilarious.
It was kind of awesome, honestly.
How do you feel? Okay.
It's just sucking pouches.
I get pause. I get scared. I won't take stuff from audience members. Like I always get afraid because I've had people be like,
I definitely get it. You know, like I think that people don't really give me much to ingest for the most part.
yeah,
Like they'll hand me like Sagalo will come out and talk if he's with us, but Soder usually doesn't go out. I convinced last time when we were in Tampa, he never does, and I was like, come on, man, you should. And he was like, okay. And then this like crazy lady who's like mentally ill and has like stalked him came out, and it was like a big thing, and he had to like.
and he was like,
really-
look at what you fucking did.
Yeah,
now.
I literally was like, dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
So
dude,
he
I gain so many followers when I do this. You
yeah,
have to do
yeah, so he like doesn't come out anymore. But people will give me stuff to give to him. And sometimes it's like weed. He got given a bunch of edibles and candy. He gave me some of the candy. I ate that. Like, I get it, but like I don't know if I was a guy. I don't know if I smoked weed and people just handed me joints, if I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna smoke.
I've
this.
seen videos of people, friends of ours, I've seen happen where they're like, oh, my vape isn't working. And then somebody will throw them a
Yeah.
vape and they hit it. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts, dude.
I mean,
I don't even like when I'm on stage and somebody's like, it hasn't happened in a while, but like, I remember when we did Tempe, I ran out of my vodka lemonade and I was like, somebody went, what are you drinking? I said vodka lemonade. And then the waitress, and then he like 10 seconds later, I had one on stage. And then I was like,
You're a little too
I know,
paranoid.
but I
You're
was
a
like,
little
I'm not
too
going to
paranoid.
drink those.
Because most...
I know that they probably brought it straight too, but I was just like, I don't even like the idea.
And like most people aren't gonna like
Trying to
give
fuck
you
my
a
butt.
joint and then be like, and it's like
it's laced with LSD.
there's PCP in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know, but I get it. I mean, the amount of stuff that people give compared to what is actually used or taken is like
Oh yeah,
they don't know. They would be sad if they knew how many joints and whatever just get left.
Yeah, well, they go. Yeah, I just gave this guy $15 for no reason.
Yeah.
They spent $15 to give it to the headliner.
Well, somebody told me a story recently about like the headliner being given like a fucking Walmart sack full of mushrooms. But they didn't do mushrooms, or they only did a certain kind or whatever. So he was just giving them out to the staff. And the staff was just like eating these mushrooms.
By the end of the night, their check drop comes at 70 hours later.
Yeah. No, but
Dude, I have a fear. Here's a real thing that I get afraid of with comics, because comics, like, we don't really necessarily. I try not to associate like with complete psychos, but for the most part, comics. Every comic has like something where they're like a psycho. Like I think like most comics have something where you can go, I see why you do this.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, you're a freak in some aspect. I can point it at myself
100%.
too. I'm not above it.
Right.
And I always have a fear because people will do like fucked up things. Like everybody knows a story about people like getting like their drinks spiked by like with Molly and whatever. You hear about these stories. I know people who have had stuff like that happen in green rooms of like just fucking around. Like, no, we put like weed drops in his fucking, and it's like, I have a genuine paranoia that it's going to happen and I'm just going to be schizophrenic because of it. I try to explain it to people when people ask me like why I don't smoke. I go, mental illness runs in my family. My uncle had schizophrenia. If you ever, please never slip me anything, even as a bit. It will unlock something.
That's kind of like the way I am, except what it would unlock for me is heroin.
Yeah. It's very different. Yours unlocks a fun part of the map. Mine unlocks the final boss. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess heroin can
Mine's
turn
not
into
fun, but it more
feels
like
good for a second at least.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas yours, it's just like, Josh is gone.
Oh, I guess Josh is shaving his head and living on 6th Street now.
Yeah, damn
You see
it.
me like outside a creek in the cave, like just like making noise. I used to work here.
Have
I used to work here.
Josh's act lately?
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's riveting.
There is a dude in San Diego who had schizophrenia who was a comic and would try to joke about it, and it was funny because it's like so not relatable.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Dude, even when I talk about doing heroin, and people are kind of like, all right, well, make it funny because this is making me sad.
Yeah. Let's reel it in a little, maybe.
But,
yeah, because I mean, he would be like, oh yeah, I'm schizophrenic, and it's like he'd be like, he was like, what's that? That's like one of his jokes. He'd go, I'm schizophrenic. What's that? And then he'd turn and he goes, oh, my bad. And then he'd start talking, which is funny. That's funny.
That's funny.
But then he starts describing it, and then it's like no longer funny.
Yeah.
He'd be like, he would be like,
that's so funny, dude. Okay, so if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that Josh had a run-in with my neighbor who initially he told me was like, he went like, pretty good, and then later found out it was a man, which then he didn't disclose to me, and then I found out. And then I will say,
not to victim blame my gaze.
No.
It was my gaze.
Just out of the window, I peeped long blonde hair and a very like a feminine like I'm sorry, they could very well be on the other side of this wall, so I'm like trying to be quiet, and we both glanced, and I didn't even know, and then they turned around and they have facial hair.
Yep.
Huh.
Chill.
Yeah.
I think
but anyways,
I think that I mean I want to run like 3 minutes because we're almost at the hour. And I mean, not to be, and you know what?
No, we don't want to wrap up. We don't have to keep talking about my roommate.
Yeah, but we
roommate, my neighbor.
I have to do a 20-hour drive tomorrow. Just
20, dude. Why?
Because we can't just leave because we're gonna go for like 2.5 weeks ish. So we can't just leave the dog. I mean, it would cost $4,000 to. We looked into like housing or somewhere, and it's like, and I also don't want to put that. I don't want to put a dog on site, because here's the thing: if I leave for like 4 days, it's like, hey, can you watch my dog? I'll give you X amount of money, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, do you want to have a dog for a month?
Yeah,
and it's
it
like,
is a lot too.
So we're gonna just drive.
I'll watch like my friend's dog Tate. have you been over here when he was over? White dog.
The
whatever.
white dog. I haven't met him, but
Yeah.
I've seen photos of you
He's
shirtless.
a great
with the dog.
Okay. He's a great dog, and I love him. No shirtless pics 2025.
You're not doing any?
No.
What are we gonna do, bro?
Unless it's like a natural picture of me like at Barton or something,
Or like at the
a swim party,
at the,
or like at the oiled up like lube fest, like one of those totally normal things.
You're going shirt. I'm gonna hold you to this.
I don't want to do it. It pisses me off. It makes me feel gross. Makes
Why?
me not feel good.
Are you feeling objectified?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes some of the comments, I'll like see your post will pop up,
Yeah.
and some of the comments are, I'm like, this is crazy.
It's
Just
nuts. It'll be
comment.
like a normal. I actually am feeling really good because
You get a lot of engagement, but they'll be like, I want to fuck your ass. And you're like,
yeah,
all right.
They'll be like, he's so obviously a bottom. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's like, those things
what-
are like, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And like
that's
all
where
the
it's like,
DMs I get are just people being like, it's also funny the way gay guys hit because it's like, it's just still a dude. So they'll be like, bro, I want to fuck you. And it's like, it's funny because it's still a dude. So
Yeah.
they're like, bro, like, oh, dude, you're so hot. I'm like,
yeah, well,
But yeah, it's whatever. But I feel good. I posted I posted the clip that I have about living with you and Jack.
Yeah.
Which is not gay. It's not
No.
gay. It's not gay baity. It's not me joking about being effeminate, really. It's just me being like, I live with two
Guys who eat
like
oats.
this, and I'm just not like that. And it's doing really well, which is like, I'm like, good, okay.
yeah.
It doesn't, maybe some fucking, I don't
Well, you
have
have
to have my shirt
tons of
off.
clips that have worked without being.
Yeah,
that stuff.
100%. I know, but it's just, yeah.
When
I-
the
and
ones that
I-
went viral,
so-
like super viral, are the
yeah,
ones that,
so
that's
here's
what makes
the
you
thing.
feel.
I do want to say, because I would hope some of them are listening to this. I have no problem with having.
yeah.
I really don't. And
No, of
like,
course.
dude, when I was in Houston, like there was a table of guys, like one of them followed me and brought like 4 of his buddies. They
Sick.
were all gay. They bought stickers. They took pictures. I love it. I
fucked
could
my
see,
butt.
I could, yeah, they tickled my asshole and jerked my cock and that was cool, you know. And I was watching. I could see them. They sat pretty close and they were laughing. They were having a good time. I truly don't give a fuck. But it's not that. It's just the things I've done for engagement before, like like posting like a pic of me shirtless. Part of that is also like getting recently like hotter and being like, I want to.
Yeah, you've
show
lost some
off.
weight.
You lose a little weight.
Get some
You move
tattoos.
to it. You get some tats. You move to a new place. You go, I'm gonna show off.
You go, yeah. You get a little tan. You go, yeah.
But and that's all neither here nor there. But yeah, I just want to. Shirts on for
Shirts
the
on
entirety of
2025. I mean, we're not even gonna make it to 2025. I truly think that the orbs are gonna take over.
The
on
orbs are gonna
Christmas.
get us. Fuck.
Christmas. I think Christmas. I'm not kidding.
Okay, now you're
genuinely
getting a little tinfoil.
No, no,
hat.
no, no, no,
Why
no,
would
no,
they
no.
do Christmas?
Because it's gonna be, if it is. Okay. Here's my thought.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, I don't see why they would want an attack to happen on a holiday. You would think you would want it to happen on a normal day when everybody is at their job and at their normal responsibilities so that people are less organized and less together because they're distracted doing their normal mundane things.
I for the exact counterpoint, I think that's true. For
you want people.
holidays, people are relaxed. They're at their we're stress free. I think, but here's what actually happened. This is what I actually think. I think that holidays it's sort of just like anything else. I mean, it's the reason that we crossed the fucking Delaware on Christmas.
Yeah.
But that's not. I'm not comparing it to that. But I'm just saying there's like something about catching people off guard.
I get that.
It's a sucker punch. But I think
Yeah.
that whatever it is, okay, this is how we're gonna end the podcast with another well-informed. Clip this out, by the way, and send this.
Conspiracy theory.
Clip this out and send it to everybody.
Conspiracy theory.
I think that. I think that whatever it is, it's clearly gaining traction, gaining attention.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I think that if it is some type of thing trying to communicate with us, let's say it is aliens. I'm just gonna go full tinfoil. Let's say it is otherly world intelligence. When else would be the pinnacle of gaining everybody's attention? Christmas is celebrated year round. It's like nationally, like it's like international.
True, for the most part.
So it's like
yes.
everybody you can reach everybody all at way, knowing that everybody's going to be there, and it seems like it's building to something. It feels like it's building to something, and it would make sense if they're trying to communicate with us. Because here's a thought too. There's another thing. People have been saying that the government's trying to the government's trying to like siphon and not give us information. They try to like slowly put like information in our ears, like we don't know what we don't like when they disclose that there are UFOs. We don't know what they are. You remember how they did that congressional hearing about this like last summer?
Yeah.
And so they kind of did that. But then they kind of right after that they were like, here's this other thing to distract you. Here's another thing to distract you.
Sure.
So now people are saying that it could be the aliens being like, you have to tell everybody. Like we've tried to tell you to tell everybody too many times. Communicate, like you have to communicate all of this right now, and that's why we're doing orbs everywhere.
But do you
Anyways,
think that if aliens from a different
You're right.
planet or galaxy came,
You're already right.
they would be like, do you think it would be like, well, we got to do it on Christmas so everybody pays attention?
Yeah, no,
you
you're
know what I
100%.
mean? Like,
'Cause at any
if aliens came, I don't care what day it is. It could be a Tuesday. I could be napping. If somebody was like, aliens just came, I'd be like, well, I have to turn the TV on.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
least.
That's what I was gonna say. Also, the thought about them trying to make forced communication also doesn't make sense because they could just go, I'm gonna broadcast to everything.
They're like a.
That went too off the rails on that one. Thank you so much.
They're like a
for
jealous
listening.
girlfriend who hasn't been posted on the guy's social media yet. It's
Yeah.
like, are you gonna post me or not?
Yeah. That's
U.S.
exactly-
government, are you gonna post me or not? Because I'll just show up.
I'll show up.
I'll show up to your fucking work.
No,
How about that?
you soft launched us last summer when you said that we were real.
Yeah, I'll post you on my fucking main page, not close friends.
Not
I'll
close
show
friends.
up. I'll post you
I'll
on my
tag you.
main page,
I'll
and I'll
tag you.
tag you.
I'll sponsor the
Yeah,
I'll sponsor the
yeah.
post. I'll spend money to fucking advertise it.
Yeah,
All right,
that
thank
is
you guys
it.
so much for checking out the Friendly
Love you
Fire
guys.
podcast. Love you. Bye bye. Make sure you comment. Bye bye.